Hey everyone, I'm Heather Williams and I am your host to Unleashed Empowerment. I am super excited to have this podcast. It's my first one, so I'm pretty pumped. And what I wanted to do for the first episode is kind of just let you in on who I am and why I'm doing this. I feel that there's a big need for a women's support group. I feel like it's just out there and it was a calling. So I decided to go ahead and make a Facebook group called Unleashed. It's a women's support group, it's women only. And it is a safe place for you to come and just be open and honest. And we literally talk about everything, good, bad, and ugly. What I really want women to get out of it is to where they can overcome their trauma from their past or even now the present and use all of that as an energy to build a better version of yourself. We want to get over all of the negativity that's in our lives and just use that as a power to just keep growing and keep building. So I've got this group together, and it's been really amazing to watch all of these women blossom. They are super open and honest with each other. They show tons of love. They show tons of support. They motivate. And people are just making really good friends. And it's really been awesome to see. Each day we have a different theme that we discuss. Monday's Motivational Monday. On Tuesdays we do talk about trauma. And that's just for everyone to kind of get their story out and let everyone know that they're not alone in this. We all have similar stories and it's okay. We're going to get through them. So we have Tuesdays for that. Wednesdays is Winning Wednesdays. Thursdays is Thriving Thursdays. I want everybody to thrive. I want everybody to grow and learn, and I want everyone to kick ass at life. Fridays are probably the most favorited. That is Freaky Friday, where we talk about sex. It's fun for me, too. I get to throw in some new positions, and I'm sure Zach loves it, too. But they've been really great, and we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of sex as well. Sometimes it's not all rainbows, and sometimes it's not all porn and BDSM and all other kind of stuff. So we talk about it all in that day. It's really fun to see. And then Saturdays are Selfie Saturdays. Everyone loves a confidence boost, so why not? And then Sundays are pretty big because it's Selfish Sunday. I want my ladies to know and understand that you cannot pour into everyone's cup if you have nothing to pour. You have to fill your own cup before you can pour in anybody else's. And so I encourage them to take some time out for themselves. Go read, go do your nails, go watch a show, go sleep, whatever it is. So we have those themes, and every once in a while we'll think of something and just start having a chit-chat conversation. I like to keep it to where we are adding value to each other. We don't have any drama. We don't sit there and bash our exes. We don't sit there and bash the people they're with, anything like that. It's literally support, motivation, love, and growth. It's been really cool to see, and I didn't realize, I knew there was a need for it, but I didn't realize how much of a need there was. The group went very quickly to like 50 people as soon as I opened it, and I was like, this is cool, and then it went to like 100 something. I was like, oh, wow, and then I waited a little bit because we were in the works of just trying to figure out how we wanted it to go, and decided to post about it, and we went to like 450 people, and I was like, holy shit, okay. And in 1 week, we went from that to like, I think we're at 1,200 people right now. So it happened quick, and it was super cool to see. The group is actually super active all the time, and I love to see that because it means that people are really wanting to grow and really wanting to learn from each other and support each other, and I love that. I think that's so fucking awesome. I think that's what the world needs. So I made that group, and kind of the start of that, I went through a couple of traumatic things in my life. I unfortunately grew up with a dad who was an alcoholic. He was a narcissist. I watched him bulldoze a fence down one time because he was drunk driving. I've watched him put a hole in the wall numerous times, coffee mugs flying everywhere, just all kinds of crazy shit. He fought with my mom all the time. He yelled all the time. He cursed us out all the time. He was kind of a monster back then. He, rest his soul, he passed away this past August. Thankfully, we did fix our relationship, and he did change as a person. He actually grew too, and I believe everybody can change, and he did. But because of all that trauma from back then, it really caused a lot of issues and situations later on because I was not mentally strong enough or knew any better to get over it, pretty much. So it led to me having tons of terrible boyfriends, starting certain activities with guys way too young, Um, definitely drank a lot. I guess because I watched my dad do it, which is a terrible answer, but like that's just what I knew. And again, I just wasn't mentally strong enough to know better, and got into really bad drug addiction. That unfortunately led me to some blackout nights. I was sexually assaulted by 3 different men on 3 different occasions. Just yeah, a lot of shit. And so if I finally got to, I even went through, tried to get better and do better things and grow. I ended up getting married, got cheated on, went through a divorce, and that's where I really hit rock bottom. I was just like, man, I can't do shit. Like, I'm a failure. I'm never going to be anything more than, just stripping and bartending and doing a bunch of coke and drinking myself to sleep every night. And I didn't think I was going to do anything better or anything good. Cried myself to sleep every night for a while. And one day I woke up and I was like, man, I didn't cry myself to sleep last night. That's pretty cool. Maybe I'm getting over this shit. And so that day I decided I was going to get into the gym, and I was going to kind of slow down on the drinking. I wasn't going to stop it. I'm from Louisiana. I wasn't going to stop it, but I was going to slow it down some. And, I got in the gym. I started working doubles when I could and lessened my drinking. And it got better and better and better each day. And I made myself get out of that rock bottom position. My mom at the time was going through her divorce with my dad. And so, like, we kind of had each other to lean on, and which was, I guess, kind of weird in a way, but also really nice. But we got to help each other, like we got to meal prep together. We were in the gym together, and, she was working, I was working, and it really helped a lot. But it really got me out of that funk, like I was just like, man, fuck this. I don't feel like being like this anymore. I don't like this. So I got to a better position. I overcame everything. I started taking the steps I needed to get better, to heal myself. And, that led into my relationship now with my husband, Zach. We've known each other since 2009, and then we finally got together, I guess, 2017. And it's just been great since then. And he's really helped me get over my stuff. I watched him go through a really terrible motorcycle accident years ago, and then I watched him go through a divorce. I watched him learn that the baby he thought was his wasn't. Like, I went through a lot with him as well. And I think because he has such a crazy past, and I have such a crazy past, we were able to really help each other and help each other heal as well. And now we have an amazing relationship. We have our little miracle baby, our little girl Lottie. She's the coolest. She's so fucking bad, but she's so amazing. And it's just, it's really cool to see like how all of that led me into working my ass off to get to where we are today. I also went to a women's retreat, and there was a certain teacher there that she came there to like pitch her business to us, but when she like heard everybody's story and kind of felt the vibe, she was like, fuck this, y'all need help. And so she did this like class with us, and we were like punching pillows, and we were screaming and the whole bit, and I was very like held back and like reserved then, so I was just kind of like, I'll punch the pillows, whatever. But then she I guess she just saw that, and she like decided to get in my face. And I think anybody that knows me knows I do not deal with that very well, but I held it in and I let her scream in my face. She hit me with the pillow, and we were yelling out pretty much who hurt us in all actuality. And, I kept thinking it was the first guy that ever sexually assaulted me. I didn't know who he was. That's who I thought in my head. And then it came out to where she kept yelling at me, and I was like, fuck you, Dad. And I was like, whoa, what did I just say, And that's where it finally it all hit me. It all clicked. And I was like, I'll be damned, duh. All the stuff I went through as a child with him up until when I moved out at 17. Like, I went and got engaged to some dude and was doing everything I could to be away from my house and my family and all that. And but that's where all that came from. And I was like, I'll be damned, So that was such an amazing trip for me. It changed my entire life, that one class. I immediately, when I was done that day with everything, I called my dad, and I was like, you know what? You are a piece of shit to us, but you're my dad, and I love you, and I forgive you. And I forgive you because I want to heal. I forgive you because I want to become the better version of myself, the best version of myself. And to do that, I have to let this go. And it led to him being like, I'm so sorry for being such a dick. I love you so much. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know why I was like that. Like, he has some trauma from his past. He had a very abusive father who was a really bad alcoholic, and he beat the shit out of my granny, his mom, and him, and all kinds of stuff. And so, like, I get it, but there's just, there's different ways of growing from that. Like a little side note, there's this story about two brothers, and their dad was a very mean alcoholic. And as the brothers grew up, they turned out two different ways. One was, very successful, great marriage, whatever. The other one was single, alcoholic, terrible person, and this, that, and the other. And when they asked them why you became this way, the one who was successful was like, because I watched my father. And then the alcoholic, his answer was, because I watched my father. Same story, same background. They just chose differently on how they were going to go about it. And so, that's kind of where all of my stuff came from. Like, I could have went down the path of the angry alcoholic, drug addict and all this, but I decided not to. I decided to get away from that, break that generational curse that's in my family. And I'm so glad I did, because now I'm fucking thriving. I know everyone hates that word for some reason, but like, I'm thriving. I'm making it. I'm doing shit. Like, I'm building businesses. Me and my husband are building businesses. We are building a legacy for Lottie to have. Like, it's just an incredible thing. So I'm super pumped to be able to tell my story. I'm excited to get it out there, because I know a lot of people have gone through the same thing. I know a lot of people have very similar stories, but they don't want to talk about it. They're embarrassed to, whatever the reason is, but now they know they're not alone. And so that's why I originally started my Unleashed group, because I just wanted women to know it's okay. You're going to get through it. You may hit rock bottom, but you can fucking build your way back up. And I'm here to help. I went through it. I did it. I can help. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not nothing and none of that. But I can teach you the ways that I was able to overcome all of my trauma and be able to build a better version of myself. And I'm still working on myself. I work on myself every day. I read every day, self-help books. I watch classes all the time. I do online stuff. Like, I surround myself with amazing men and women. And I'm learning every day, because also I'm trying to make a good impression on my daughter. I want her to look up and be like, my mom was a fucking badass. She had businesses. She was helping women left and right. She was helping daddy do this. And, she kept her, kept herself, just all that. Like, I want her to also know she can be independent if she wants, or she can, be with a loving man that loves her, and they can raise a family together. Like, she can do whatever she fucking wants to do. She could run the world one day if she wants to. And I honestly think she will. That little girl is one strong little girl. But that's why I'm doing all this. That's why I'm explaining all this to you guys. Sometimes I can be a rambler. I feel like I'm rambling. But, like, this is why I'm doing this. That's my story. That's where all this came from. And the group I made was kind of like a validation for me, being like, man, this was a need. This is, something that you really need to do and you really need to help people with. I was told just the other night at dinner that I just have this energy. And I get told this a lot, so I guess this is like a thing. But I have this energy that comes off me where people just kind of draw in and open up. We were at dinner and we were kind of going around the table. It was like 63 people who, are working their way up in the business or making their business, or all the way up to millionaires. I mean, this was like a really cool deal. And at our table, everyone's like going around saying what they do and stuff. And I was asked what I did. So I was like, well, right now I have a group, Unleashed, and I'm helping women overcome their trauma and using all that energy to build the best version of themselves. And this one girl was like, well, that's cool. Why do you do that though? And I was like, I think it's my calling. I don't know. Like, I just think that, there's been so many times that I can be anywhere. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what time. Doesn't matter if it's a bar or a restaurant. I mean, I don't care, anywhere. And someone will come up to me and just start talking to me. And it always leads to them just pouring their heart out to me, half the time crying. I'm giving them advice. We're exchanging numbers. And, later on they're like, thank you so much for just listening to me. Or thank you so much for just talking to me. And she was like, cool, whatever. end of the dinner, she was sitting next to me. I was holding her hand. She was crying, telling me her story, and I was giving her the best advice I could. You know, it's just, I guess it's just my calling, and I love it. I mean, the feeling you get when someone comes to you and they're like, thank you so much for just listening to me, or thank you so much for giving me this advice, whatever it is, like, it's just a good feeling. Like, it's not, you know, it doesn't make me be like, I'm such a great person. No, like, I just helped a person either, you know, find a way to communicate with their spouse better, or to fix things with their family, like their father, their mother, whatever. Like, that's awesome to me. I love that. So having a group like this of full of these women that just needed this kind of space, and like to know that like I'm doing everything I can to help every single one of them, it's a really great feeling, and I'm super pumped about it. You know, so that's my story. There's a lot more to it. Obviously, there's a lot more details to it. I'm in the process. I wrote a book, and you know, the more I kind of went over it, I'm like, there's so much more to this that I really feel could help people. Let me like dive more into it. So I'm working on that. So that'll kind of come out too. But I thought this podcast would be really cool to come on here and have experts on here, you know, teach people things and just talk about day-to-day life stuff, and really just be open and honest, because we all go through shit. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a billionaire. I don't care if you ain't got a dime to your name. We go through shit. Everybody does. So I think this will be a really cool thing. I think it'll be great, you know, because it doesn't matter if you're a guy or girl listening to this. You're going to get a different perspective on anything, you know. And the group is still growing, and I'm loving it. We're going to be doing retreats. We're going to have pop-ups. I have one coming up soon. It's going to be in Memphis, Tennessee. Super excited about that. And, you know, I got merchandise coming, like all kinds of stuff. Like, it happened that quick. Like, everyone was like, we needed this. It's here. Let's go. And I'm fucking about it. Like, I'm so ready to do this. And this podcast is just another one to add on to it, but I'm pumped. And I'm super excited too, because not only am I doing this, Zach, my husband, he has his accountability group for men called Uncaged. And he's a little bit more aggressive with it. Like, I can be aggressive. Like, I'm not the, oh, let's do a pity party kind of thing. No, like, fuck that. Get to fucking going. Do what you need to do. But he's a little bit more aggressive than me. So, but it's awesome. Like, I love hearing, you know, when people come up to me and like, man, like, you know, I learned this from Zach last week, and like this expert that talked to us taught me this, and this. Like, I love to see it, because that means all these people are growing and learning. So he has his group. So for any of my women that have a significant other that want to be in that group, you know, they're more than welcome to go over there, and then y'all can learn together. And what we also decided was, because we can put all that together, and I think it's great for those who are in relationships and they want to work together, they're able to do that. But I think also, like, sometimes even if you're single, like, just hearing the perspective from a different, you know, male or female, whatever it is, like, that's just a good thing. It makes you really think about things differently and really learn on a lot of shit. So we also have a podcast coming, and that is Unchained Empire. And I thought that was really cool because, you know, like I said, we're building a legacy for Lottie. Like, I want her to be set the rest of her life. Like, she's going to have to work for it, but, like, she's set no matter what. Like, that girl's going to be good. And we're building an empire because we just want to help as many people as we can. So with this one, it's going to be Zach and I hosting the podcast. And we are literally, and again, going to be talking about everything in life, parenting. Mostly what we do is, like, health, wealth, relationships, growth. He goes into a lot of finances. That's more his thing. But we're going to be talking about everything. So, like, I'm super excited to bring all this together. I'm super excited to do this with my husband. We have gone through hell and back. Like, we've had rough times. We've had great times. Where, you know, it's just been a really cool journey for us. And, like, it's really fun to be able to do something like this with someone that you love so much. And I look up to him. Like, he's been through a lot, and he's such a good fucking dude. And so, like, this is exciting to do this together. And, you know, and eventually later on, when Lottie's talking real good, we'll throw her on the show. So I'm just really excited to do this. You know, this is a dream come true, and I'm just pumped. So I'm so happy to have all you here. I can't wait to, like, dive in with you guys. And so, yeah, this is the first episode. I'm a rambler. Sorry. I'll work on that. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I cannot wait to talk to all of y'all and just keep this going. Thank you so much, and welcome to Unleashed Empowerment.